Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. I'll be doing my mid-season tips predictions for the rest of the year. So I did do a prediction at the start of the year. Unfortunately, I can't quite remember. So you guys probably wouldn't even believe me anyway, so wouldn't really matter. But I have predicted um the rest of the ladder for the mid-season mid-season. So let's see how the ladder will shape. So in 18th spot at the start of the year, I predicted North Melbourne, and well, you guys may not know, but I did predict North Melbourne to come 18th, and now seeing games, I think West Coast will come 18th. They are useless. That's just not going to win any more games this season. They were lucky to win against Collingwood. I don't really bring that up much and don't really speak about that. But yeah, they were pretty lucky to win that game. And 17th, well, I predicted a little bit of a different one. I predicted Hawthorn to come 17th at the start of the year, and now I'm predicting North Melbourne to come 17th. Let's face it, they may get one more win, like a big upset, and that's it. They're not very good, and they're under a massive rebuild, and their coach is under a lot of pressure. Um, but now, next tip, um, 16th. Well, I did do it at the start of the year. I predicted Adelaide to come 16th, and well, obviously, I am predicting the GWS Giants to come 16th. Could be a bit of a controversial one, this one. Just because they have an easier run home doesn't mean they're going to win those big games, because I just don't see them getting that many upsets, because they're not that amazing. And yeah, I just don't see them really doing that, to be honest. Um, yeah, I just don't see the Giants getting anywhere, really. And then my 15th tip at the start of the year was West Coast, and well, obviously a lot worse than that. But um, now my prediction for 15th is the Adelaide Crows. I do not see Adelaide winning too many more games. I'm sure they'll win some more, but I reckon their coach could be under a bit of pressure because that rebuild's going on for some time now, and yeah, they'd be under pressure. 14th at the start of the year, I went for a bit of a different one by tipping the Gold Coast Suns, and well, obviously that's probably not going to happen now, seeming their recent form, but now I'm probably going to tip Essendon. Look, the Bombers have had a disgraceful year, and the second half of their year is not going to get any better. I do not see them getting anywhere, but a big win over the Blues tomorrow night could shape their season. A big win for their anniversary, too, if they do win. I don't think they'll win, but I think it'll be a thriller still. 13th, the start of the year, I predicted Collingwood to come 13th. Obviously, we're doing better than that now, but 13th from the rest of the season, I think Hawthorn will come 13th. Yeah, I reckon they'll be up there with the wins, just not quite getting those wins that they needed to get uh, in some easier games, like that Collingwood game. If they won that, they could have been definitely in the hunt for finals. But now I don't see that happening. So 12th, at the start of the year, I actually went for Geelong to come 12th. Now, you guys may hate on me for that, but that's definitely not going to happen now. But my tip for the rest of the season, I reckon Port Adelaide will come 12th. I reckon that start of the year is going to cost them. I don't think they're going to get too much more wins this season. They've got a pretty tough run home. Yeah, just poor start by Port Adelaide really probably cost them a finals chance. 11th at the start of the year, I tipped, I think, GWS to come 11th, and well, they're definitely not going to come there anymore, aren't they? Because, well, yeah, they're all the way down at 16th at the moment. I think they will come 16th. I don't see them jumping up. But now for the remaining half of the year, this could be a bit of a controversial one. I've gone the Western Bulldogs. I do not see Western Bulldogs getting those wins they need to. It just could be a bit controversial, but the Dogs, they're not anywhere near their grand final form at the moment, and I don't think they'll get that back this season. I reckon they're going to miss out of finals, which is huge, huge. Never would have tipped Western Bulldogs to miss out on finals because my tip for the grand final this season was the Western Bulldogs versus Geelong. Western Bulldogs versus Melbourne, sorry, a rematch, and well, Bulldogs to win it, but don't think that's happening now. 10th spot this season, I have put a big one. I put St Kilda at the start of the year, but I don't think St Kilda are going to come there anymore. But 10th, now I've got Collingwood to come 10th. We've had a really good season so far. I reckon we can continue our great form, but I just don't have us in the finals. I just don't have us with that percentage that we need to get into the top 8, unfortunately. Now, 9th, at the start of the year, I did make this call, and it's a pretty fair call to put Richmond in 9th, which is pretty controversial, but I definitely do not have Richmond in 9th anymore. I've got the Gold Coast Suns, just getting a slight percentage over the Collingwood Magpies. Yeah, I think the Gold Coast Suns will be a little bit better than the Pies in the back half of the season. Yeah, I've just got them sliding into that 9th position, just missing out on finals, but that's their highest spot ever to be ranked. And 8th, at the start of the year, I had the Fremantle Dockers coming 8th, and I do not think they're going to come there anymore. I think they're going to come much higher, probably top 4, the way they're playing at the moment. But now, this one could be a bit of a controversial one. I've got Geelong to come 8th. I know they have an easy run home, but I'm going to tip them to drop some of those games, those big games, that would probably put them for top 4, you would think. Sure, I've still tipped them to beat teams like West Coast and Adelaide and North Melbourne. I just got them to drop those games that they need to win, like against the Saints in a couple of weeks. I reckon they'll drop that. I reckon they might drop the Suns at home coming into the back half. And I still don't really see them beating the Tigers. I think the Tigers will come to play in that game. Now, 7th at the start of the year, I had a Port Adelaide in there, but I don't think they're going to get there anymore. They are a long way back. And now I have Richmond coming 7th, just getting the slight edge over those teams like the Dogs, the Pies, and the Suns. I reckon they'll be the best out of the 4. I reckon the Tigers will come 7th. Yeah, that big win over Geelong back in round, I think it's round 16, 17 where they play. Yeah, I just tipped them to beat the Cats in that as a pretty big game, and yeah, I just predicted that to happen, and if it doesn't happen, then I've got them sliding down to 9th or 10th even. So, it's a pretty big game, that one. And 6th, at the start of the year, in 6th, I had Carlton coming 6th, and honestly, I reckon it could happen, but I reckon they'll be pushing for top 4. Now I've got the Saints, Cardi Saints, in 6th. I reckon they're going to have a strong second half of the season and just missing out on that top 4 spot because of percentage. But yeah, like I said, St Kilda, they are a bloody good team this season and they look good for finals. And 5th at the start of the season, I actually had Sydney, and well, Sydney are 5th. My tip coming 5th at the end of the season. So if that does happen, then I'll be really, really happy getting one right. You're probably supposed to get more, but still, one right, not bad. And 4th at the start of the season, at the Western Bulldogs, and they were my tip for the grand final. And you take a look at them now, do not look happy about it at all. I don't think they're going to make finals, but my current mid-season 4th position is Fremantle. I think this could be like one of their first times in their club history coming top 4. And if it isn't, it'll definitely be like one of the only. And yeah, the Dockers just look amazing at the moment. I reckon they'll get that percentage up enough to play top 4 just over the Sydney Swans. And yeah, I reckon they'll play an away qualifying final. And third at the start of the year, I had Geelong. And, well, Geelong do look good this season. I just don't see them coming there anymore. So now I have Carlton. And this could be a pretty big one, but with Harry Mackay back, I just think the Blues may kick back. Like, they've got Marchbank back as well, and that defensive spot they targeted Sam Durden and actually received Sam Durden from the mid-season draft. But I just can see the Blues getting their side back together, get those injured players back, like Zach Williams, for instance. If he gets back before the finals, that's going to be huge. I can see them going maybe deep into September. And second, well, at the second start of the year, I had Melbourne, and now I have Brisbane. I think Brisbane Lions will come second now, just because the Lions have dropped a couple games. They're a bit of a form slump, so are the D's as well, but yeah, the Lions' defence has been rattled a couple times. I think average score conceding against them is like 104 points now, so they've got to fix that up. And well, first, my prediction at the start of the year was Brisbane to be the minor premiers, and now it's Melbourne. I think Melbourne will be that minor premier. Again, I know they're in a bit of a form slump, and the whole incident happening with May and Melksham, but I reckon they'll get it back together and come on top. So yeah, let's go final. So Melbourne Fremantle qualifying final. Melbourne win that pretty easily, I'd say, away from Optus Stadium. Elimination final 1. This is one I'm looking forward to. Sydney versus Geelong at the SCG. We already saw a big game there at the SCG with Buddy. We could see a big one again, and I've just got the Swans winning this over the Cats in a bit of a thriller. And the next one, another thriller, and also happened back in 2020. Got St Kilda versus Richmond. These two teams could become final rivals, but I've got St Kilda to win and progress to the semi-finals. And then the other big game up at the Gabba, got Brisbane versus Carlton. Brisbane will win that quite easily, and they'll go into a prelim. And then the semi-finals got Fremantle versus Sydney. Who would have thought we'd see these two teams in a final? Haven't seen it since 2013 in the prelim final where the Dockers won. And I reckon the Dockers can win again. This time at Optus Stadium, they'll be too strong and they'll win the game. Next, the second semi-final could be a big thriller. Carlton versus St Kilda. What a game it would be. But I think Carlton are just going to be a little bit too strong for the Saints and progress into the prelim. Next, we have the prelim finals. Melbourne versus Carlton, the first prelim. I think Melbourne should probably win. I can see Carlton challenging, but Melbourne have just been the better side and just got to go safe with them. Melbourne into the grand final, home team. And Brisbane Lions up against the Fremantle Dockers. Could be a pretty good prelim. Seamings up at the Gabba. I just think the Lions will be a little bit too strong. Sorry, Freo fans, but the Lions progress into a granny. And big game at the G for the grand final. Melbourne versus Brisbane. Huge game, and I reckon Melbourne will just win. And boom, Melbourne win back-to-back premiers and back-to-back minor premiers as well, and win. So yeah, thanks for listening to my ladder. I've got to quickly go into the Coleman. So the Coleman medal, my prediction for the Coleman medal is Jeremy Cameron. He's currently leading it now just over Charlie Curnow because of the bye, but I still think Jeremy Cameron, big Jezza for the Cats, will become a second Coleman medal winner, just like he did in 2019 for the Giants. And yeah, the Brownlow medal, this one could be a bit controversial because at the start of the year I went with a weird option of Jack Steele, but now I'm going with Clayton Oliver, the midfield bull from the D's. He keeps ranking him up every week. I reckon he will become a Brownlow medal winner. And even though Bontempelli has been good this season. I just don't see him winning the Brownlow. I was predicting him to be my other option other than Steele, but Steele's injured, so it's obviously not going to happen. Plus, he's been a bit off this season. And Rising Star, I think, at the start of the year, I predicted Nick Dacos, and now I think Jai Newcombe will just get the edge over him. He's probably been a little bit too good for Nick Dacos, and unfortunately, I don't see the Pies winning the Rising Star. So, yeah, I can't really do predictions for Mark of the Year, Goal of the Year, but Goal of the Year, what I've seen so far, Ed Langdon's probably going to win that, and Mark of the Year, pretty tough, actually. Mark of the Year, I don't really know. There hasn't been really too many brilliant marks, but yeah, I have to wait and see. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and yeah, stay tuned for my third weekly vlog. Unfortunately, my second weekly vlog has been blocked because of YouTube not liking me, unfortunately, but yeah, we just have to roll with it. And weekly vlog number 3 will be out very soon. And also stay tuned for my Collingwood review and the tips after this big round of football.